Our next guest took the photos he was taking while on set and made them into an entire book. But aside from that, he's also a legend of the effects world and the head of ILM. Not a big deal. It's Rob Bredow, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me. This is amazing.
The book is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
If you have not seen this, it's all of his pictures from Solo. Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, it was an amazing place to be, getting to stand on the set of these amazing places, whether that's the Falcon of the cockpit or some of the other places that we built for this movie. And I realized there were times where I was the only one in the room with a camera. We might be looking at a certain maquette, and there might not have been anybody else around with a camera. So I started taking some pictures, and after a while, I realized, like, this is starting to turn into quite an assortment of photos. So I showed some of them to Kathy Kennedy, and I said, do you think I could make a little book to give to the crew as a kind of a thank you gift or something? And she goes, if you're going to make a book, let's make a book. And so she hooked me up with Abrams and Lucasfilm Publishing, and here we are.
And it's absolutely wonderful. I mean, it's such an amazing glimpse. Everybody always wants to see what it's like in these in-between moments, what it's like to set up, what it's like to work on these effects, what it's like to make these practical effects. And this is just such a wonderful, because you're such a presence on set and everybody knows that you're going to be there, it's almost as though you weren't there, and everybody is so natural about it.
Well, that was one of the fun things. I mean, everybody kind of got used to me having a camera around my neck, because I have to for my day job as the visual effects supervisor. I've got to take a lot of photos for the team back at Industrial Light and Magic so they understand what was happening and what the lighting was. So everybody was used to me having the camera, and then every once in a while I'd just snap an extra photo and I'd get a great moment of the cast, because we were actually all friends after the first couple of months. We all knew each other, and hopefully you get some of that feeling of what it's like to actually work on one of these movies when you thumb through the pictures, because it really is my perspective of what it was like to be on set for this whole creation of the movie from the very beginning to the end.
Yeah, and let's talk about that, because Solo has such a striking visual style to it. It has its own sort of thing. There's a lot of Art Nouveau wrapped into it. There's a lot of like old noir film wrapped into it, depending on where you are. Yeah. Tell us about sort of the idea for the look of Solo and the style of Solo, what you were trying to accomplish.
Yeah, it was really a team effort, and it started with the idea that we wanted to make the film feel as if it was at home, having been shot like 5 years before the original Star Wars, before Episode 4. So we were trying to use as many of those old school techniques as possible. And then the cinematographer, his name is Bradford Young, he's just an amazing artist. And he had this idea of a lighting style that everybody really got into and supported from beginning to end. And then the production design team built these amazing sets, places like Dryden Ship and things that...
So beautiful.
Yeah, they're
so beautiful.
Phenomenal places to walk around. And then on the visual effects side, we did things differently too. So instead of just sticking green screen or blue screen up, we looked for opportunities to use front projection and rear projection. And these are old school techniques, invented more than 100 years ago, but we modernized them with the latest technology. And really, for the actors, when they're sitting in the Millennium Falcon and they actually see hyperspace going by them, it's a totally different experience for them, and it really changes the way the camera works and everything all at the same time.
Yeah, that has to be totally a completely different feeling to have this interactive, actual Millennium Falcon.
When you push the hyperspace levers, you go into hyperspace. I mean, the first time we did it, Phoebe goes kind of under her breath, she goes, are we really going somewhere? Phoebe plays L3, because it felt pretty real. We were shaking the cabin, so it had more in common with like a motion simulator ride at Disneyland than it did a traditional film set. It was really fun.
So tell me about then one of the most amazing sequences is the speeder chase in the opening. And the speeder chase has such a feeling of like classic Steve McQueen kind of chase, like Bullet and things like that. How was that entire scene shot? Because it looks like a great deal of it was real.
That's exactly right. We went to real locations. We dressed real 650 horsepower cars as speeders. Of course, they had wheels that visual effects and the team at ILM got rid of in every one of those shots, and we had to extend the backgrounds. But we were in a real location, a real abandoned power plant that was dressed for the movie partially, and then the artists at ILM, we took it from there and finished out the environments as you see them in the picture.
That's unbelievable. Tell me,
one of the stunt drivers was saying it was like the most fun he'd ever had in a stunt car, because it was front and rear wheel drive switchable and super powerful. So they were doing crazy stunts with these cars.
Wild. So it was just like a completely custom muscle car.
Totally was. I had a V8 engine in it, but it was 650 horsepower. It could do a lot of those stunts for real.
That's unbelievable. I love that. And then the train heist, obviously, it was something. Oh, sorry. I'm getting word that the T-shirt gun is here. I'm sorry, would you like to fire the T-shirt gun?
I think someone here wants me to fire the T-shirt gun. I would love to fire the T-shirt gun.
Can somebody please get the head of ILM a T-shirt gun?
Thank you, sir. There you go. Okay, let's see how this works.
It's already pumped up. Be careful, don't hit the trigger.
Yeah!
That was pretty awesome. That is a great gun.
That is unbelievable. Well, Rob,
That was
thank you so
fantastic.
much. Thank you for coming on. That's a practical T-shirt gun. None of that was digital.
A real practical
Did it feel like
T-shirt
you were
gun.
shooting a real T-shirt
Yeah,
gun?
all we have to do is paint in some blaster fire and we're set.
I'm telling you, the people we have back there are amazing. Thank you so much for stopping by,
Thanks
Rob.
for having me. This was
Check
great.
out the book if you have not yet. It's absolutely wonderful. Lots more to come from Star Wars Celebration. From the Star Wars Show Live, presented by Geico. We will return in just a moment.